Phew. I finally finished all the deliveries for this month. My name is Michelle. I've loved drawing since I was a child, so I started working as an illustrator on a freelance basis from when I was still a student. Thanks to that, I've been able to make a living as a freelance illustrator even after becoming an adult. In addition to illustrations, thankfully, I'm also given the opportunity to write comics for working women for several fashion magazines. According to my editor, they seem to be quite popular. I met my husband, Tom, through my current job. Tom worked at the major publishing house I also worked for. At first, it was just a professional relationship, but we hit it off after finding out that both of us had lost our fathers in an accident when we were children. After that, we started going out to eat together occasionally, and after several dates, Tom confessed his feelings for me. Are you sure I'm the right choice? I'm pretty plain and my only talent is drawing a bit better than others.
That's not true at all. I think you're incredibly talented, and I love how hard-working you are.
Even now, I blush thinking about how he said that. Having never dated before, it was difficult for me to have confidence in myself, even when they told me that they liked me. If he says so, maybe I can start to like myself a little more. I was starting to be able to think this way. His confession meant a lot to me. After dating for about 2 years, we got married. For a while after our marriage, we enjoyed our newlywed life in the apartment we had rented. Both Tom and I are in our late 20s already. If we want children, maybe we should start sooner rather than later. One day, while pondering such things, the conversation about living together with his mother, Emily, came up.
Mom says she wants to live with us. What do you think, Michelle?
Emily lives alone at her place, right?
Yeah, I know it's kind of awkward to bring this up so soon after getting married.
It seems living together was Emily's idea. I hadn't met Emily much, just maybe once before our wedding and once at the ceremony. But she was youthful and very kind. Normally, one might be a bit wary about moving in together with the in-laws. But having lost my father when I was young and living just with my mom, I had a sort of fascination, almost a longing, for family. So I didn't feel any aversion to the idea of living together. Maybe Emily is getting a bit lonely living alone. You used to go back to her place quite often before we got married, but that's lessened now.
That might be true. I'm really sorry. It's weird for Mom to start saying things like this. I should have been more attentive.
Why are you apologizing? I don't mind living together at all.
Really, you're okay with it?
Yeah, I think it'll be more fun with Emily around than just the two of us.
Michelle, thank you.
And so, I happily agreed to live with Emily. Tom was also worried about Emily, it seems, and he was really pleased to hear my response. And about 6 months had passed since our wedding. Our new life at Emily's house began.
Michelle, I don't dislike any foods. I'll cook anything with enthusiasm.
Sorry, Emily. I'll help out with the cooking too.
That's okay, Michelle. You just relax.
Emily was happy about living together, and besides meals, she took care of most of the housework, like cleaning and laundry. I felt terribly guilty because I was always busy with work deadlines, but having Emily around was a blessing. Things were going smoothly with our new life together, but one day, Tom dropped some unexpected news.
Michelle, I'm sorry. I suddenly have to relocate to a rural area for work.
What? It seemed he had been ordered by his company to work in the countryside for a few years. The news was so sudden that my mind went blank. Though transfers are common for employees like Tom, we had only started living together in this house for less than a month. Of course, Emily and I are not related by blood. I think that our life has been smooth sailing largely because Tom has been the mediator. Suddenly living just with Emily, would I be able to do well? Frankly, that was my concern. Even though I had agreed to live together, suggesting to end it just because Tom would not be around seemed heartless. The thought of moving with Tom crossed my mind, but being near the city seems better for my career opportunities. Probably, my inner conflict was showing on my face. Tom said, "I'm really sorry this came up so suddenly. I'll talk to Mom about it properly," and he apologized multiple times. It wasn't that I wanted to trouble Tom, and since we were living together, I did feel a little more closer to Emily. So, I decided to continue living with Emily. But that might have been a naive decision on my part. Even after we started living just the two of us, Emily was kind for a while. However, about a month after Tom left, Emily's attitude completely changed.
Michelle, instead of just lazing around, how about helping out with some chores?
Look, Emily, I've told you many times, I'm not just playing around. I'm working right now.
Oh, stop lying. You're just doodling on that board all day long. There's no way you're making money from that.
It's not a board. It's a tablet PC. Emily misunderstands me working from home, thinking I'm unemployed. Now, she complains daily about doing this or that.
No matter what you say, I'm not fooled. Aren't you ashamed, pushing all the household chores onto me? Don't you have any pride as the bride?
I really appreciate all you do around the house. But in place of helping, I do contribute $3,000 a month from my earnings to our household expenses.
That money must be from Tom over concerns for me. How could an unemployed person like you pay such a large amount?
No, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Like I said, I'm busy with work and can always help with housework, so after discussing it with Tom, I've been contributing a significant amount from my income to the household. Of course, I don't think money solves everything, so I do help with chores when I have time, but it seems Emily doesn't understand that at all. Despite explaining it multiple times, Emily shuts out anything I say that she doesn't like. It seems like she doesn't want to understand no matter how politely I try to explain. It's futile. Because of this, Emily's treatment of me has become increasingly harsh, and finally, she started berating me. "You're just a parasite, a leech. I didn't agree to live together just to take care of a neat like you." Emily doesn't work. She's a homemaker. She sometimes dresses up and goes out, but mostly, she's at home every day. I'm financially supporting Emily, but still, she treats me this way. Honestly, even I, who is usually mild-tempered, am really getting fed up. Because of being forced to help with household chores, there were times I missed work deadlines. This has caused inconvenience to my supervisor, and I've had to apologize profusely over the phone. If this continues, I might lose their trust. And then, the other day, Emily called Tom's big brother, Mike, and his wife Sarah came over to the house.
"I heard from Mom. You're holed up in your room every day, totally absorbed in your drawing."
At your age, that's so lame. You're such a nerd.
Mike's flamboyant appearance and snide demeanor make it hard to believe he's related to Tom. I've always had a hard time dealing with him. His wife Sarah, too, wore heavy makeup and smirked.
Emily says she can't stand living with you anymore.
"From now on, We'll be the ones moving in here. Get lost, you neat.
Mike and Sarah looked down on me, freely throwing insults. Watching this, Emily seemed amused. My frustration with this family, who wouldn't even try to understand me, was mounting. I can't get involved now. I don't have time until my deadline. I need to finish my drawing. I kept telling myself this and continued my work in silence. But Emily probably didn't find this amusing.
Why are you ignoring me so coolly? Really nasty. Watch what I'll do to this little board of yours.
Hey, Emily. She snatched the tablet PC from me and slammed it on the floor. Angrily, she began stomping on it repeatedly. Then, carried away, Mike and Sarah joined in. Serves you right. Mom, let me do it too.
I want to turn too. This is hilarious.
They stomped on it together. Over and over. Again and again. Please, stop. Despite my pleading, they only stopped when the tablet's screen was shattered and the internal components were scattered everywhere. Naturally, I couldn't work under these conditions. I'm so mad. These people better watch out. It was so ridiculous that I didn't bother saying it out loud, but this incident pushed my patience past its limits. So, I decided to stop living in this house. When I discussed everything that had happened with Tom over the phone, he was speechless for a while before apologizing repeatedly. But I wasn't trying to blame Tom. When I expressed my desire to live with him in his rural place, Tom happily agreed. Previously, I thought living in the countryside might not be the best for my career, but now, being with Tom quickly became more important. Tom said he would speak up to Emily and Mike for me, but I asked him to wait. Because I had a plan. After deciding to end the life with the in-laws, I started preparing to move. I wanted to finish as quickly as possible and leave this house at the earliest opportunity, but amidst my busy preparations, Emily, Mike, and Sarah showed up, looking remorseful. What do you want? I'm busy here.
Sorry about the other day. I didn't know you had been contributing $3,000 a month to the household expenses.
That's right. I heard it from Tom that you were contributing that money out of consideration.
I think I've mentioned that numerous times from the start. Hearing this, I understood Emily's motives. Probably, she realized that once I left, she wouldn't receive any more money. However, I couldn't understand why Mike was involved in this conversation.
Come on, don't say you're leaving. It's going to be lonely. We can still live together, and it's fine if you stay too.
That's right. If you leave, Emily demands that we put in $3,000 a month for living expenses instead. There's no way we can afford that kind of money.
What do you mean, no way? The only reason Michelle is upset and wants to leave is because you guys broke her tablet.
Wow. Wasn't it you who stepped on it first, Mom?
That's right. We did nothing wrong.
They started a pathetic argument among themselves. As for me, I couldn't care less. I continued with the moving preparations in silence.
Please, Michelle, I won't be able to make ends meet if you don't help. Even if you leave, you'll still contribute to the house, won't you?
That made me laugh out loud. Why would I do that? If I'm not living here, I won't be giving you a penny.
But really?
What do you mean you can't make ends meet? I thought I was giving you enough to easily save some money. What on earth have you been spending it on?
That is, well.
Emily hesitated before confessing. I've been spending it at nightclubs. I was so appalled that I was left speechless.
You've been going to nightclubs. What are you thinking, Mom?
But I couldn't help it. I've been lonely. Please, Michelle, I need your help to keep supporting my nightclub expenses. Think of me, a widow.
Are you serious? Of course not.
Emily, even I find that a bit much.
That's awful, so mean.
Emily muttered and slumped dejectedly. It seemed that not being able to go to nightclubs anymore was a real shock to her. She is beyond help.
Michelle, Mom has caused trouble. I was being stupid too, but I'm willing to apologize. Let's forget everything and all live here happily together. How about it?
No, thank you. I have no intention of supporting you all. Mike offered an apology from a high horse, but I just scoffed at it and continued with my moving preparations. After that, I left Emily's house and moved to join Tom at his new location. Now, I'm living a relaxed life in this small town. Alone in a quiet room, I was working peacefully when I suddenly wondered about the aftermath of a certain parting gift I had left behind. Right on cue, Emily called. "Hello, is this Emily? It's been a while."
Michelle, you've really done something terrible. Because of you, things are a mess here now.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. It's about that comic you drew.
Apparently, the comic I drew had turned Emily's house into a complete disaster. The parting gift was that comic. As a form of revenge, I had detailed how Emily, Mike, and his wife were berating and insulting me. The realistic portrayal resonated with women of my age, and according to my editor, it became quite popular. Though I didn't use their real names, some relatives who knew I wrote comics recognized the story. One of them realized it was about what happened at Emily's house, and now, many relatives had descended on her home, blaming Emily, Mike, and Sarah in the midst of it all.
What am I supposed to do now? Everyone knows I was spending money at nightclubs.
Well, that's good then. Now you don't have to hide it anymore.
I can't go to nightclubs anymore. Michelle, please, smooth things over with everyone for me.
No way. Why would I get involved in such a mess? You handle it yourself.
No.
I could hear Emily's wail over the phone. It felt somewhat satisfying to vent my frustrations. Later, Emily was confronted by furious relatives who discovered she had been racking up debt to fund her nightclub habits. She owed so much that she couldn't possibly pay it back alone, and ended up having to sell her house. Now, Emily is working odd jobs, struggling to pay off her remaining debts. Eventually, Emily, Mike, and Sarah moved to a cheap apartment, but with no money. Their days are filled with constant arguments. I think Mike and Sarah should just leave, but apparently, they too are in debt and can't afford to live on their own. Sarah, tired of this life, cheated and left the apartment quickly. While I feel sorry for Mike being left behind, frankly, it serves him right. I feel a bit sorry to Tom for thinking this way, but I think he understands. Meanwhile, Tom and I are enjoying our life in the countryside. Without the stress of living together, we soon were blessed with our first child. This area, a bit away from our hometown, surrounded by nature, suits us very well. It feels almost unbelievable that I was worried about moving away from the city. Having secured a comfortable work environment, my job is going better than ever. I'm even more motivated to work harder for the sake of our child who will be born soon. Thanks to the positive reception of my recent comic, I've landed a new series in a magazine, and both my personal and professional life are going very smoothly. Ironically, I might have to thank Emily and the others for giving me the opportunity to advance my career